Are you feeling the shift of the market? Would you like to know what you ought to do to make sure that regardless of market condition, your business continues to thrive? Stay tuned for a video real quick. Hello and welcome to the Real Estate Sales Mastery TV. I'm your host, Chadi Bazzi, a real estate coach and trainer, and I'm on a mission to help you master the art of selling so you can take more listings than you are right now, sell more homes much faster than you ever have, work less, and build a business by design. A business you absolutely love that gives you the money, time, and freedom that you deserve. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hey there, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome to another episode of Real Estate Success Mastery TV. And boy, do I got an exciting episode for you today. It's actually going to be a two-part episode, and today is episode number 1, and it's all about how to thrive your business regardless of market conditions. How to thrive your business regardless of market conditions. And today's episode was really inspired by my personal one-on-one coaching clients. We got on a coaching call today, and she was in total panic mode. And by the time our 30 minutes was up, she was totally excited about all the changes that are taking place in the market. So I want to share with you what I personally shared with her, so you could apply the same exact thing to make sure that your business is going to thrive regardless of what is happening in the marketplace. So I began by saying the following. You might want to write those two things down, okay? I said, number 1, I want you to write down the following. I said, number 1, write down, screw the market. Screw the market. Yeah, excuse my language, screw the market. So I said, that's the first thing that you're going to write down, screw the market. The second thing that I wanted you to write down was the following. The market is in my head. The market is in my head. So we began the call by saying, hey, screw the market. And number 2 was the market is in my head. So they both go together. And then I did something with her that I've done with some of my other coaching clients in the past, and it worked out wonderful. Now, the reason I wanted to start off with screw the market and the market is in your head is because here's the following. Why do I say screw the market? Because there's always a declining market. There's an appreciating market. There is a steady market. There is a seller's market, and then there is a buyer's market. So what are you going to do? You're going to change your strategy, your approach, your systems, your structures, your business every time the market changes. That would be the killer of your business, and that's why so many people experience the roller coaster in real estate. That's not what I want you to do. I said, look, screw the market. That doesn't necessarily mean don't pay attention to what is happening in the market. You always got to be paying attention to what is happening in the market, as all experts do. But we pay attention to what's happening with the market so we can make minor adjustments. Keyword is minor adjustments, not major adjustments. She was all about, hey, it's a buyer's market. I got to put these buyers in escrow. My listings are not going to sell, et cetera, et cetera. We don't want to keep going from buyer's market to seller's market, et cetera. What we want to do is we want to make minor changes. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So what I did is I had her grab a brand new piece of paper. Okay, so you need to grab like a brand new piece of paper, and on that piece of paper, we're going to do a quadrant. So you're going to put a line from top to bottom in the middle, and a line from left to right in the middle. So one line in the middle, one vertically, one horizontally, and you should have 4 squares. So I said to her, in the top left-hand corner, I want you to write down the words good news, good news. And in the top right-hand corner, I want you to write down bad news. Bad news. See, depending on who you are speaking with in any market, like we described 5 different kind of markets earlier, somebody's going to give you the good news about what's happening in the marketplace, and someone's going to give you the bad news. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what we exchanged going back and forth, what I was able to bring out of her. Okay, now you could add yours as well too, and you could disagree and challenge what we're talking about here. Simply leave a comment right below this video, and we can carry on the discussion to help out as many people as we possibly can by what you may be able to add to the list. So we came up with a good news list, and a bad news list. Now the other 2 quadrants is exactly what I'm going to share with you on the next video. So let me share with you what we've come up with under the good news list. So I was like, And that's what I wanted to begin with. Now I was like, we'll just call her K for the sake of just keeping that conversation anonymous. So I said, K, what's the good news? Okay. And she said, well, this means that some properties are not going to sell, so more expireds will show up in the marketplace. Now, she happens to be a person who does prospect expireds and does set expired appointments and take expired listings and sell expired listings once she takes them. So what's the good news? She said, there's going to be more expireds coming up. So I was like, so is this something that we should be looking forward to, or is this something that we should be complaining about? No, Chadi, this is something that we should be looking forward to. So I was like, write it down. Okay, this is under the good news list. I said, what else is going to be good news? She said, well, there's going to be less competition. And I was like, very interesting. Why do you think there's going to be less competition? She's like, because most people are not going to be going after sellers. They're going to want to be converting the buyers. I was like, they don't want to go after the sellers and they want to be converting the buyers. I said, why don't they want to go after the sellers? She's like, because most people think that in a buyer's market, it takes a lot longer for a listing to sell. So I was like, all right, we'll come back to that point, but let's go ahead and put that in there because there is some agreement to that. So there's going to be less competition. So I said, so if there is less competition, would it be easier for you to set appointments or would it be harder for you to set appointments? She's like, it'll be easier for me to set appointments. I said, so does that mean you'll be going on more appointments? She's like, yes. I go, so is this something to be excited about and look forward to, or is this something to be complaining about? No, Chadi, it's something that we should be looking forward to. So I was like, all right, perfecto. So that's number 2 on the list. By the way, you should be adding it to the list as well too. I said, what's number 3? I actually told her what number 3 was. I said, look, the good news is that the only sellers that will sell now are the good sellers to be working, the motivated sellers, the realistic sellers. So I was like, wouldn't you like to work with more sellers like that? She's like, yeah. I go, well, the only people that are going to raise their hand and say, hey, I want to sell are those same exact people that know what's happening in the marketplace. And regardless, they're motivated enough to get the property sold. So that was the 3rd thing on the good news list. And I said, what else is good news? She goes, well, interest rates are still low. I was like, okay, well, let's add that to the list. So we got that still in our favor. So there's 4 things that are on the good news list. And I said, what's the 5th? What's the 5th? Or what's another item that we can add to the list? And we came up with one more. She said, Chadi, my serious buyers now have more options, therefore a quicker sale. My serious buyers, like the serious buyers that she's working with, now have more options to choose from. Therefore, it's going to be a quicker sale. And we say more options to choose from, quicker sale, because there's more properties that are going to sit on the market that are going to take a little bit longer to sell. Okay, because they're not listed with her. That's the good news. When they do list with her, they will sell quicker. So now her buyers don't have to wait for a property to come on the market. There's enough properties on the market. Okay, so those were the 5 things that she said were 5 pieces of good news for the change of market. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to make your own list of what you believe is the good news about this changing market right now. So now let's move on to the bad news. So I said, what's the bad news? And she said, Chadi, first piece of bad news is the buyers are going to begin to stall. I was like, what do you mean the buyers are going to begin to stall? She's like, all of a sudden now the buyers think that the property values are going to come down. So property values are going to come down and they want to wait for property values to come down before they buy property. So that's one piece of bad news that she said is on the bad news list. I said, what's another piece of bad news, if you can think of any? She said, well, now sellers are also want to stall as well too. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, now the sellers are going to be like, hey, Kay, we want to wait for prices to come back up before we actually end up buying or putting the property on the market. So I said, okay, can you think of any other piece of bad news? And she said, no more bad news. She couldn't think of any. So I said, let's take a look at both lists. I said, do we have more good news or do we have more bad news? She's like, no, we have more good news. I said, good. Then we have something excited to be about, something to be excited about. And I said, on the bad news list, now we've identified what it is that we need to be working on to make sure that we eliminate these challenges, we eliminate those obstacles before they even come up. So let's put that over on the good news list. Look, I can't wait for part 2 of the series, because in part 2, we're going to fill up 2 more quadrants, and I'm going to work with you on some specifics on how to better equip yourself for this changing market and any changing market in the future, whether that's in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, or 10 years. I want you to bulletproof your business, market-proof your business, and thrive regardless of the economical conditions. Now, obviously, one thing, and I'll just go ahead and throw something out there right now. Obviously, one thing that you absolutely are going to have to be working on regardless is going to be your skill set. It's going to be your skill set. And I want to invite you to check out our latest product, our latest training that's coming out later on this month. And you can do that by simply checking out handlethisobjection.com, because the objections are about to start coming up and you want to equip yourself for that. So that's handlethisobjection.com. You know, depending on when you're watching this video and or listen to this podcast, you may go to this URL and you might find a sold out page. If you do, then please go back to my website, shadibazzi.com, and just get on the waiting list, or click the button that says get on the notification list. I'll let you know when that's going to be available. So look, the market is shifting. How long is this shift going to take place? I don't know. It could be. I don't got a magic ball. You've heard that line before, right? We don't know. But here's what we know. You are in control and you are responsible. And the top producers, they welcome the change, because they know that this is the time where a lot of people are going to flip-flop from one side of the business to the other side of the business, go back and forth and ride that roller coaster, and they're going to continually thrive slowly but surely, taking their business to the next level. All right. Hey, thank you very much for watching this episode of Real Estate Success Mastery TV. We'll see you in part 2 real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.